What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another player ratings. Wolverhampton 1, Tottenham 1 at the Molineux. Another late equaliser for the opposition team. Another set-piece goal for the opposition team. Another early goal for Tottenham, where we couldn't manage to hold on to the lead. How do you kind of dissect that performance last night, Sim?
Same thing, just doing the same thing and expecting different results. And it was working for us a few times earlier in the season, but at the moment, the luck is not falling our way. And the fact of the matter is, when you're Man City, or not this season's Man City, but when you're Man City or Liverpool, usually this luck at the end of game doesn't really matter because you're usually 2-3 goals up. And that's the fact. That's the facts. But with us, because there was always a goal in it, you always kind of need that luck to be on your side. And as soon as it doesn't go your way, you end up dropping points. And that's what's been happening past 4 games. I think the defense is still solid. I think you can still see that. I think people not giving Jose enough credit for what he's done with that, but I think he's rightly getting the criticism that he deserves for not being as adventurous enough in the second halves. And it's such a pattern. The last 7 games in the second half, we've had 22 shots in 7 games. That's nowhere near enough. So we really need to be upping that, and we need to be having more venture. Now the thing is, he says it himself, right? Mourinho saying all the right things, but we're not seeing it on the pitch. So either the players aren't translating his methods, or he's not good enough at coaching his methods. And I don't believe it's the latter, because he's won so many things. So I don't know. It's a tricky one at the moment.
Something doesn't sit right with me with the way the team are kind of managing games, and the things that Jose Mourinho is saying after the games. They're just not adding up, like you say. And I just don't get it, to be honest, because if Jose Mourinho is telling the players one thing and they're not doing it, then that doesn't make sense, first of all, because it looked like that the team were fully under Jose Mourinho's bandwagon.
I don't think they're purposefully not doing it. I don't know why they're not doing it, but
it's puzzling. It's very puzzling. And if Jose Mourinho isn't telling him that thing, then why is he throwing them under the bus in the post-match interviews? I mean, why is he doing it anyway? To be honest, those things should keep in-house. And if he is going to talk about,
you say that,
he needs to back them publicly and then disgrace them inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, I don't know what he's saying to the players at half time, but I think fans, they want to hear an explanation of of a reason why it's going wrong, and if he's saying that, at least he's showing that he can see the problem, and that's not how he wants us to be going forward.
But the same thing every week.
That's the thing. If this isn't the first time, that's the problem, and so he's really got to sort that out. He's got to sort that out quickly, because it's becoming a real problem now. It's 4 games out of win. You can't go on these sort of runs and especially have them continue and expect to be challenging near the top. That's the reality.
Well, having said that, Everton went on a 4-game losing run, and now they're second, sitting 3 points behind Liverpool.
Yeah, look, it's a strange season. It is a strange season. A few good results, and we could be back challenging top of the league. That is the reality as well. So the fact of the matter is, we need to start winning games again, and that, before it gets too worrying. And I think, in fairness to Spurs and to Jose, I think you can see a path to us winning games again. It's not like I see a problem here, which I think is insurmountable, because it's not. You can see we're a good team. You can see we defend very well. You can see when we want to attack, we attack. It's just it seems to be a tactical problem at the moment, as opposed to anything else. So at least there's light at the end of this tunnel. I think people on social media go way overboard when they say Mourinho's ruining the club and all that crap. It's all rubbish. There's definitely a pathway you can see with this team. Well, what we can do. It's just at the moment what we're doing isn't working. We don't have the balance right.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the ratings. Let's start off with Hugo Lloris. We gave him a 7. I thought he pretty much dealt with everything that came his way. I think most of the shots he had to deal with were kind of very quite weak shots down his throat, which he picked up. But I thought that, he dealt with everything he came his way. Pretty much had nothing to do in that first half. It got busier and busier as the game went on. But yeah, he done what he had to do pretty well, to be fair.
Yeah, all the saves. I'm pretty much every save he made, he hung on to the ball, I think. So he's done very well there. He's always been very good about Lloris hanging, making the ball stick. One thing that people aren't really pointing out, I don't know if the keeper's in charge of this, but one thing people aren't really talking about is there was no one on the line when they scored their header. And you know, if there was someone on that line, that doesn't go in. That's cleared off the line. So I don't know whether it's the keeper's decision or maybe it's the coach's decision not to have players on the line. But that's something that's got to be looked at. But look, I think Lloris did really well. Like he had a really solid game. And again, I think it's similar to most of his games this season. Not too much to do. Wasn't overused. So it was in what he did do, he did exceptionally well. And that's why he's one of the best keepers in the league, because he had little to do. And he was sharp for what he did do. So good stuff again.
All right, let's move on to Matt Doherty. We gave him a 6. I was actually quite impressed with Matt quite early on. I thought he was showing a bit of adventure getting forward. But after the first 5-10 minutes, I can't remember him getting up the field at all, really. So that was a bit annoying for me. But I thought that defensively, he did quite well. Dealt with pretty much everything that came down his side. But attacking-wise, he didn't get up enough for me.
I thought Neto... a few times. I thought Neto had more joy against him than Adama had against Davis, in my opinion, anyway. Or Davis had Davis in the second half, more Reggie in the first half. But
well, he dealt with Neto fairly well, I thought.
I thought Neto actually had a pretty good game. I thought Neto played pretty well. I thought he dealt with him okay. He didn't exactly get skinned, but a few times Neto was able to get a ball across the face of goal and cause dangerous moments. But yeah. I thought in general, Doherty was fairly solid. I agree with you. I thought for early exchanges, he looked like he was going to be giving one of those Wolves performances. He was getting up the pitch really well. And in fairness to Doherty, quite a lot of time when we were going forward and we had no options, he was a decent outlet on the wing to kind of keep possession. But other than that, again, not seeing enough quality in the final third from him to warrant what we thought we were getting, basically. I think at the moment, what we're seeing is just, you're basically an average fullback we're basically seeing, which is one that's not too great not too bad forward or back and not too great either. That's what we're seeing. Maybe a wing back that changes, but a fullback, that's what we're seeing. But he did play wing back yesterday for the first half, and I thought that was where he was more comfortable there, I felt.
Yeah. Let's move on to Sergio Reguilón. We gave him a 6 as well. He got taken off, I think, on about the hour mark, wasn't it? So before then, I felt that he was really advanced on that left-hand side fairly most often for us during the first half especially. Could have scored a goal with that header. I thought he was getting up really well, and he was linking up with Ndombele pretty well, I thought, as well in that first half. But I still want to call on him to do more in that final third of the pitch.
He had the big chance, in my opinion, to make it 2. Not the header, but when we had that breakaway, Ndombele, I think drilled past like their whole team pretty much at one point. And he plays out to Reguilón, which I think was the wrong option because Kane was also free. But he plays it to Reguilón, and Reguilón had 4-on-2. And he decided to take the shot. He could have squared it to Son and Ndombele, who were both free inside the box. Just need a square pass. And he decided to take the shot, and it was a relatively tame shot in the end. And Patricio dealt with it easily. And that was the big chance for 2-0. We never really got as good a chance as that pretty much throughout the game. Which is a big shame for him. But he was a good outlet on the left. He was pretty aggressive as well. I just felt like he could have done a bit more going forward. And I think wing back, he can play that role. I don't think he was bad there, but I think he probably wasn't enough of an outlet. But he did have our best chance.
Yeah. Let's move on to Davinson Sanchez. We gave him a 7. I felt it was much better performance from Davinson in the Premier League. Although we haven't seen him for a while in the Premier League, but he hasn't. That's why, it's because of his poor performances. But I thought it was much better yesterday. He kept his place from the Stoke game, which he also had a good game. And do you reckon that he's the right man for the job? I'm still undecided, but I still felt he had a good performance yesterday in a Wolves team that were kind of peppering us for a lot of the game. Yeah,
he had a solid game. I think Fabio Silva was a bit better than we thought. And I thought he gave them didn't give him the toughest of rides, but I thought he dealt with them fairly well. His passing was a bit better. I think it was a bit more accurate, although still playing it. He was kind of playing into dangerous areas. and it led to loss of possession, but not because of his accuracy, just because of the timing of the passes. I thought but he did defensively. Look, I can't complain. No mistakes. I thought he was pretty solid. I thought it looked like for a long time he was going to see out a good performance and a clean sheet, but it didn't happen in the end. But look, credit where credit's due. He didn't make any mistakes. Wolves are a solid team, and he performed admirably. So I was pretty happy with him. But whether he's the answer, we'll have to wait and see. I think he was in the team. I was hoping he was in the team to push us forward a bit so we can play a bit higher at the pitch. So pace, but it didn't seem to work. But we'll get on to Mourinho later, but I'll say my piece there.
All right, let's move on to Eric Dyer. We gave him a 7 as well. I thought as well, Eric Dyer did well. For 90 minutes, we defended superbly. We were such a good defensive unit. And again, it was the set piece that let us go. To be fair, Eric Dyer potentially could have given away a penalty at once.
That was a bit lucky.
It was a sloppy challenge. Luckily, it wasn't given. But like I said for Davinson, the Wolves attack were putting us under pressure for 90 minutes, literally. And it was good job for Davis, Sanchez and Dyer all to stay strong for 90 minutes, apart from the set piece right at the end. But Eric Dyer, I don't think he really made a mistake all game, apart from that potential penalty decision. And he was getting nice headers away all game, to be fair.
And this is where VAR, this is what I thought VAR was going to be brought in for. Not thought it was going to be brought in for, but I think I agree that VAR shouldn't be overturning a decision like that because it's so minuscule. Although it was clumsy from Dyer and there was some contact, it wasn't clear and obvious. There was he definitely impeded Fabio Silva. So I think although he's got lucky based on previous decisions given against other teams. For example, the Liverpool-Brighton one, very, very similar. There was a tiny bit of contact on Welbeck from Robertson, and the penalty was given. I disagreed that VAR. I agreed it was a penalty, or disagreed that VAR should have intervened because I don't think it was so clear and obvious. Same with this one. I think if Dyer probably lucky because it probably was a penalty at the end of the day, but it was a very minor decision. And I think VAR was right not to intervene because it wasn't clear and obvious, but he's very, very lucky because it was a clumsy challenge. And if the penalty is given, that's not being overturned. That's a penalty. So he got very lucky, I think, in that situation. But I thought he had a solid game. He was playing in the centre. His passing could have been a bit better, to be honest. And our passing from the back is crucial in this system because we don't tend to play through midfield that much when we're on the break. And we need good passers from the back. And when our passing from the back is on point, we're a lot more difficult to deal with. But I felt like Dyer's passing wasn't that great yesterday, which was a bit of a shame. But I think
that was a big problem yesterday throughout the whole game was passing.
Yeah. I thought he was defensively fairly solid though. And and apart from that one mistake, which if it is given, we're probably lambasting Dyer, but he got lucky with it. And I think he had a decent game overall.
All right, let's move on to Ben Davis. We gave him a 7. I thought it was a very, very good display from Ben Davis yesterday. He dealt with Adama Traore impeccably well. You see some of the best centre-backs really struggling against Adama Traore. Look at Jan Vertonghen last year, how he got skinned alive in the same fixture last year. So you've got to give credit to Ben Davis with how we've dealt with him. But everyone's going to go to that moment right at the end of the game where he lost Roman Saiz for the corner. And rightly so, to be fair, because you've got to keep your concentration for the whole 90 minutes. And that, if it wasn't for that moment, you're probably giving Ben Davis an 8 and man of the match yesterday.
Yeah, such a shame that his performance got overshadowed by that one moment that ended up costing us. And, Saiz got a run on him and that was it. It was a goal. And it's such a shame because he had really had Adama Traore on his pocket. And don't forget as well, in the first minute, it was his ball through to Son, which led to the corner. And then it was his ball back to Ndombele, which got us the goal. So he was quite involved a lot during the game, early doors. And I thought he was having a really good game. And I thought he really dealt with Adama Traore. He was a massive threat throughout the game, for any team. And he dealt with him really, really well. And his performance got overshadowed, unfortunately, by set piece again, just like our performance overall. So it's a big shame for Davis, but I thought he did it. I thought he did well for most of the game.
Yeah, I mean, following on from that brilliant goal at Stoke, grabs an assist in the first minute of this game, defends impeccably well for pretty much 80, 85 minutes. And then that happens. I mean, it's really, really disheartening. It really is.
Yeah.
But look, let's move on to Harry Winks. We gave him a 6. I thought it was very, very hot and cold from Harry Winks. The things that he did well, I thought his defensive side of the game was really well. The amount of times crosses come in and he was kind of intercepting it and getting it away, I thought was really, really good. What let him down on the night was his passing, because it was dreadful, to be fair. It really was. Spurs couldn't get 2 or 3 passes together the whole game, and I thought Harry Winks was central to that. And there were some moments in there with just schoolboy stuff where he would let the ball run further and tries to pass it, and it was a woeful pass into to give the Wolves a throw on. And I mean, these things cannot be happening on a football pitch, especially in the league. It's ridiculous.
He did some really, really shocking moments yesterday. There was one moment where he overruns the ball, and then he tries to save the ball by passing it to Davis, and he passed it out for a throw. That was really poor. And there was also another really promising moment. One of our only promising attacks, I think it was of the second, it might have been in the first half, I think it was the second half, where we have a really promising situation. All we have to do is lay it off to Davis to play him in, and he overhits the pass, and it goes back to a Wolves player. But there was also a really good moment where he plays a really nice through ball to Reguilon, who has a chance to do better, and his cross got intercepted. So that was good stuff. And as you say, he did a lot of good defensive work, intercepting crosses, clearing it, and he did some good stuff there. And one good thing I'd say about Winks is him being in the team didn't seem to hamper us too much defensively from open play. He seemed to do a good job there. And we all know his passing was probably, even though his passing was bad, was probably still better than what Sissoko usually brings. But his passing definitely could have been a lot better. That's especially why he was brought into the team. Clearly, I thought in the first half I was seeing some good things there. But yeah, I think he wasn't the only guilty party in terms of the passing. But definitely the focus will be on him, because that's his main strength. And when he comes into the team, he has to bring that to the team, a quick passing into attacking players and get attacks going. And he didn't do that, so that was a big shame. But I was happy. But I was happy because he got a yellow card for what I thought was a foul that probably had to be made on Traore in that first half. Although it was borne out from him losing the ball. So he's got to be frustrated with that. But I thought in the second half, he performed pretty well on a yellow card and wasn't really in risk of getting sent off. And I thought he was pretty stable defensively. So I'm going to give him credit that. But he needs to do more if he needs to break into this team. And now I'm thinking, Winks and Sissoko are playing at the moment. He doesn't trust the Celso and Ndombele together. So is Sabitzer becoming a priority now in that centre? Looking like it.
And looking that way. But let's move on to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. We gave him a 6 as well. I thought he was busy in the middle trying to frustrate Wolves. He did show some nice good touches and some interceptions as well. But again, like Winks, I felt that his passing really let him down, trying to start attacks and what have you.
Yeah, a few times his passing let him down as well. Really sloppy passes when in good positions. And it makes me feel like, if these passes were more accurate, if our team had our passing on point, then maybe we would have been able to get on the pitch quicker. And that is a big problem for us. And, Højbjerg yesterday definitely didn't have his burst game. People are saying his tiredness. People are saying he's overplayed. People are saying the same about Kane and Son as well. It's potentially true because he's playing every single game. And he's not getting a break, and we can't really afford to give him a break. That's the problem. And not only that, he played on Stoke, didn't he? He played in a few Europa League games, so he really is playing a lot. And is it catching up with him? It might be, but I hope that's not the case, because if it is the case, then we really are screwed a bit. But it wasn't his sharpest display. A few times Podence had him on toast, absolute toast. And got by him a few times, and and we did well to shore things up, because there was a moment where we were getting exposed badly in the centre, and then we made a sub. But whether Mourinho made the right sub, taking off Tanguy, is a big question mark, what everyone's saying. But at least we kind of plugged the hole that was forming in front of the back four in that second half. But Højbjerg and Winks were definitely leaving a hole there.
Let's move on to Tanguy Ndombele. We gave him an 8. Absolutely brilliant from Tanguy yesterday. Scored after inside the first minute. keeper probably could have done better, but he was a bit wrong-sighted. Couldn't see when he took the shot, so it trickled into his right-hand side. But apart from that, the guy was unplayable at times. He really was. There was that one moment where he took it from the edge of our area to the edge of their area. We couldn't make it pay. There were multiple amounts of times when he was just skinning players for fun. He was literally untouchable in that middle of the park, and I thought it was one of his better displays this season. He was really, really good. Got taken off after 67 minutes. A lot of Spurs fans saying that was our undoing in the game, which was kind of right, to be honest, because he went off and then we kind of lost all attacking intent whatsoever. We didn't go forward once after he went off, literally, apart from when it got to 1-1. So yes, he got taken off. He gets taken off every game around that mark because of his tiredness, but it didn't actually look like he was tired at all, because the action just before he got taken off, he took it past 3 Wolves players and really started a good move. So I'm not sure whether he should have gone off, but kind of history tells us this season that it's probably right to take him off.
Yeah, look, no doubt about it. As soon as he went off, that was pretty much our attacking game done. There's no two ways about that, because he was the only player looking to beat a man and create chances for us in that midfield, pretty much. He was the only player actually making something happen. He is just majestic to watch. He is one of my favourite players in the whole Premier League to watch. He really is. And it's such a joy to see him glide past these players that are not even there. That moment where he dribbles past 3 players in the second half just before he got taken off was a sight to behold. He was making Wolves tackle each other. He was making them run into each other. He was making really good decisions. His goal, although Patricio probably should have done better, as you say, it was a nice strike. And it was an on-target strike, I guess. That's most you can say about it. But it had some power on it, which got past the keeper. And when he's in that kind of mood, he's
unplayable.
He's the best. He's the best there is in the league. When he's in that mood, I don't even think Kevin De Bruyne can do some of the things he's doing on the pitch. But yeah, that's the thing. He's so intent in his play. I can see why he gets tired quite quickly, because you can't keep up that sort of intensity in your dribbling for a whole game. I really believe that, because that's so, you can see how much effort goes into every action he does, and it's a lot. He needs every ounce of his energy to do what he does, I think, and I can understand why he's burnt out. But I agree with you. He didn't look burnt out when he went off, and it's probably a combination of things. It's probably a combination he usually gets tired at that moment. Also a combination of Lo Celso being out, so we need him for these festive games as well. So maybe we don't want to overplay him. But we've got other players who are overplaying at the moment. We don't see a problem with there. But I guess Ndombele is very crucial at the moment. We can't really afford for him to get injured. So maybe he had that on his mind. But he was head and shoulders above any player on the pitch, let alone Spurs player, Wolves player. He was the best player on the pitch before he went off. And in that kind of mood, he's just incredible. And you're right, when he went off, that was pretty much it for our attacking play, because we had a midfield 3 of Sissoko, Højbjerg, and Winks going into the last 15 minutes. And clearly, I think at that point, it was to shut up shop. But I don't think it was the plan for the whole second half, because I will get on to Mourinho later about it, but I don't think it was.
Yeah. Look, let's move on to Heung-min Son. We gave him a 5. I thought he did work really hard, a lot of running up there, a lot of defending from the front. But attacking-wise, he didn't really get involved in the game. I don't think that's too much of his fault, but it just is what it is, because our passing was really bad and we couldn't feed him through. There was one action right at the beginning of the game where he could have taken a shot off, but...
First 30 seconds.
Huh?
It was like first 30 seconds.
Yeah, in the first 30 seconds where he could have got a shot off. But I think it did lead to Tanguy Ndombele's goal anyway. So yeah, that is what it is. But look, it was a quiet night for Son, just because our passing play from the back to the midfield was really bad. And second half, Wolves peppered us for pretty much 45 minutes. So it was tough for him.
Yeah, and he played up front for the majority of the time on the pitch, because we were playing that 3-5-2 formation. And I think he can play with that formation with him and Kane up front, but pretty much that time within the first 30 seconds was pretty much the only time he got in behind the defence. And other than that, he didn't really do it the whole game. And I agree. I think a lot of it's to do with how the quality we had on the ball, the quality of our passing, which wasn't up to it. And I think he's got to do a bit better. Not him. I think the team has to do a bit better to help him, because when he's not getting on the ball enough, he could become a bit anonymous. We need to start playing to his strengths a bit. And is there something to him going off as well and us conceding? Because that also seems to be a trend. But
it has. It happened in West Ham, happened in Newcastle. It's happened in pretty much every single game.
I think it happened in well, it wasn't Liverpool. I think it was Liverpool. Palace. That was it. It happened in Palace. Is it a case of? I don't know whether it's just a coincidence that we take him in, because Ndombele is the same thing. So
it's something less for them to think about. You know what I mean?
I think that's definitely true, because he's our only real threat in behind. When you leave Kane on, they're not really worried about Kane running in behind. But when you have Son there, that's always going to be a worry. But if there's no Son up front, they can really push up and really start pressuring us, knowing that we don't really have the pace in behind to threaten them. That could be a case, but also just could be a coincidence because we keep conceding late, and that just happens to be when we bring Son off. Maybe that's also a coincidence. We'll have to see, at the end of the season. But there could be something to that. But unfortunately for Son, he's going through a bit of a rough patch in terms of form. I think the team is definitely more to contribute than him himself, because we're not really playing to his strengths. But I need to see him more involved, because he's just, we need to get him more chances, because we've seen when you give him chances, he's guaranteed to score goals. So at the moment, I think it's the team's problem that we're not getting him chances.
Let's move on to Harry Kane. We gave him a 5. Looked really sluggish, in my opinion. Looked tired, looked leggy. When Son went off, Kane was probably the better option to go off, to be fair. He wasn't creating much all game. I felt like he was dropping deep in midfield a lot without much joy, and I felt that he was losing the ball a lot in the midfield as well. So all in all, I felt that it wasn't a good display from Harry Kane. But again, like we say for Son, like we say for Højbjerg, he's being overplayed big time. And
Sorry, you're going to finish that?
No, I finished.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kane as well, not just like Højbjerg, playing a lot of Europa League games, played the whole 90 minutes against Stoke on Wednesday. He is being seriously overplayed, and it's no surprise that he looks sluggish. I also think what's contributing to him looking sluggish is the fact that he drops deep so much, and all of a sudden when he has the ball, he has a lot to do. Because when he's at his sharpest, he can dribble past a couple players, play out wide, get into the box, and get on the end of something, or get a shot off on the 30-yard mark. But when he's a bit off, when you're being played as much as him, and to play that role that he plays, right, when he's on top of his fitness, he can play that role, and he's great at it. He's one of the best.
A lot of energy.
But exactly, you saw that. You saw how much energy it required at the beginning of the season. You saw how much energy he was putting into the team, running back, making tackles, getting forward. It requires a lot of energy. And all of a sudden, when you're not on your top of your fitness and you've got the ball in the centre and you have to dribble past 3-4 players to create something, it's not as easy. And a few times he was getting dispossessed. They clearly had a plan for him as well, Wolves. You saw that. And I think this role he's obviously very good at this role, but this role is maybe a bit much when he's playing every single game, and he's getting tired. When you're tired, I don't think this is the perfect role for him. So that's something that definitely we have to look at and adapt to. I don't think he's so tired that he can't play. I just think that he's that when you're playing all these games thick and fast in this kind of December period, that role is very, very taxing on your fitness, I think. And I think it definitely showed yesterday. And maybe that's something we have to adapt, get him further forward a bit. And I think that just goes to our tactics again, or how we're playing, because if we have more control and he's spending a lot more time up front, then he doesn't have to do this role that he's done. But having said that, I thought a lot of times he was winning free kicks in the centre, and I thought the whole second half, his job was pretty much just to win free kicks and the halfway line and relieve the pressure. And he was doing really good at it, to be fair. He won a lot of free kicks and stuff like that. So that's a good role for the team. And I still think he was working really hard and he was doing a good job for us. But people also blame him for the goal. Some people saying he should have got ahead on that, which I can understand. He probably should have got ahead on it, but I thought...
And there was another corner came in the last 10 minutes that he headed away.
That's true. So you can't blame him for everything. He's being overplayed, and Carlos Vinicius being ruled out due to COVID and stuff doesn't help. But he is being seriously underplayed, Vinicius, I think. People have a point there. Mourinho banging on about a striker. They know
for a reason, you know what I mean?
and only gives him 12 minutes in the league. But whether, I don't know, I feel like there must be something to that. I don't know. Because I feel like even in Europa League, he has a good record, but he doesn't seem to trust him. Even in Europa League games, doesn't seem to trust him. So I wonder why that's the case.
Yeah, with Vinicius, we'll see how the season goes on. But let's move on to Steven Bergwijn. We gave him a 5. He came on for Reguilon with around half an hour, 25 minutes to go. Came on that left-hand side, and we hardly saw him, did we?
Yeah, what we did see, he was heavy touches, wasn't that impressive. I wanted more from him, to be honest. I wanted a better cameo. And to be honest, I thought that substitution signaled to me that we did want to get that second goal. And I remember when they made that sub, I thought, all right, we're going to get the second goal now because we take off Reggie, put on Bergwijn, and also we have a bit more attacking threat. We bit back to a 4 at the back. So that signaled to me that Mourinho wasn't happy with how the game was going and he wanted another goal. So that's a positive, I guess. But Bergwijn didn't do enough, really. We didn't see him have a chance going the other way. And the chance he did have, he was just heavy touches and didn't constitute anything.
Yeah, and you say that substitute signalled intent from Jose Mourinho, but the sub 3 minutes later was Tanguy Ndombele for Moussa Sissoko. 5 came on for Tanguy Ndombele with 20 minutes to go. Tried to make life difficult for Wolves, but didn't really do much.
Yeah, I don't look. He came on, tried to shore things up. It nearly works, but the goal at the end obviously cost us. And I thought, but the substitute from Bergwijn was going to bring us forward. And I thought Sissoko was going to come on for Winks, but he didn't. He came on for Ndombele, and unfortunately, we end up costing us. No, not costing us, but we just didn't have anything going forward.
Yeah. Let's move on to Jose Mourinho. We gave him a 4. How do you dissect this? Because it's a problem that keeps happening. Yes, he's sorted out the defense. From open play, our defense is impenetrable, really, this season with 3 goals conceded.
And even those goals shouldn't have gone in, really.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of game plan and the way we set up, he tried something new, but it didn't really work, did it? I mean, the first 5 minutes we looked good. First 10 minutes, maybe you could say it did work if we carried on playing that way. But the way we just score and drop back and just don't look adventurous at all. We're being stifled by kind of not being adventurous at all. And this is why we're dropping points. And, if you go on and get that second goal in the first 20 minutes, you're talking about probably 3 points yesterday.
I think I'm definitely talking about 3 points.
Yeah, and you've got to say that's down to Jose Mourinho, whether he's telling the players to do it or not. I mean, he's the coach and the buck stops with him, I'm afraid.
Yeah, at least he's saying that's what he's saying. He's saying like the fact it's not that we didn't get goals. It's the fact that we weren't adventurous and dangerous and giving Wolves something to think about. Because at the moment, teams just know that we're going to sit back and they can pile on the pressure, and usually by the end it's going to tell. All they need is one moment, and they're finding that moment at the moment. So it's really frustrating. I think the way Joe set up yesterday, I didn't have a problem with it. I think he anticipated Wolves playing 3 at the back, and maybe he got a bit surprised that they didn't. Wolves played 4 at the back. And maybe both managers were trying to out-tactic each other. I didn't have a problem with how Jose set up yesterday, though, and then bringing in Winks and Sanchez, I thought was a signal that he wanted to get higher up the pitch and a bit more passing and get some create more chances. But yeah, at the end of the day, we got the early goal and we sat back and we did exactly the same thing we did against Palace, and we got exactly the same result. And it is getting very, very frustrating. I think, look, he's identified it, but he hasn't rectified it, and that's the problem. He's
identifying it every game, and he seems to be throwing the players under the bus every game as well, saying, "Oh, I told the players this," and they're not following my comments. I mean, for me, you got to keep that kind of stuff in house. You really do. I know he's done it before with Tanguy Ndombele, Dele Alli, and it's kind of, especially with Tanguy Ndombele, it turned himself around. But this is like the whole team. And if you keep throwing the whole team under the bus, how long until the team turn on him?
Well, the team will only turn on him if he's lying.
Yeah.
And if he's not lying, then I don't think the team are going to start turning on him. I think it's still very early days. I don't think that kind of talk's warranted yet. But I think Mourinho. I don't mind him saying that, to be honest, because I think it shows that he knows the problem. Or he's trying to show anyway that he knows the problem and he wants to rectify.
He knows the problem, but it's the same thing week in, week out.
Yeah, but at least we had a course correction at the beginning of the season when we were leaking loads and loads of goals, and we had a course correction. Now we're not scoring enough goals, and I'm just hoping we have another course correction within the season, and hopefully we can find the right balance. At the moment, we're not finding the right balance, and I think he's got to take responsibility for that because he's the manager, and regardless of what he's telling them, he's got to be able to get his ideas onto the players and get them to implement it. And moment he's either he's not or he is, and that's his tactics. I'm not sure which one it is at the moment from what he's saying, but I feel like we definitely need to change it up a bit. We need to freshen up how we attack teams, because at the moment we're too easy to defend against. People know if they just stop Kane and Son, pretty much you stop Tottenham at the moment, and it's way too easy to defend against. We've been worked out, and so we need another rethink, and that's what he's got to do. At the moment, 4 games without a win, that will sting, especially how we've dropped points, because the fact of the matter is we haven't been outplayed, I don't think, in any of those games. That's the truth. We just haven't done enough ourselves. But maybe Leicester we were, but apart from that, I don't think we've been outplayed in any of those games really, and I think we have ourselves to blame why we haven't won any of the games. So at least I can see that there's definitely a pathway for us, but I think Mourinho's got to definitely freshen it up a bit in the attacking sides, because 11 goals in our past 10 games after 15 in our first 5. There's a clear problem there, and Mourinho can't deny there's a problem there. And now there was a problem at the back, he sorted it, and now there's a problem going forward, and that's got to be sorted. So hopefully he can rectify it sooner rather than later. But we'll see against Fulham and Leeds, and I think our next 4 games, I'm hoping we see a big tactical, because we got relatively compared to our last 7 games, our next 4 are relatively decent. So we got to go on a bit of a run, put pressure on the top 4. And if we do go get 2-3 wins on the spin, you'll see the mood change, because we're going to be probably second. Because looking at Everton's next 3-4 games and Man United's next few games as well, they've got tough games. So if we do get 2-3 wins on the spin, we will be second in the league. So the mood will change, I believe. So let's keep spirits up. Although form's bad, all is definitely not lost in this season so far. It's still very, very tight. It's a weird season, so anything can still happen. So let's just hope we can turn it around, this form, and get back to winning ways.
Look, at the end of the day, we've just come through a really, really hard period of games, Look at who we've played: Man City, Chelsea, the Scum, Leicester, Wolves, and Palace away in there as well.
It was always going to be a tough spell.
Exactly. It was always going to be a tough period. We were always going to drop some points. Just we didn't think we were going to drop points 4 games on the spin. That's what hurts the most.
The problem was because we got through the City, Chelsea and Arsenal.
Exactly.
Like, all right, this is good, 7 points. And then we're thinking, now we can hopefully, if we can get through City and Chelsea like that, surely we can get through Leeds, Leicester and Wolves and Liverpool. But unfortunately, they've proved a bit tougher, and it hasn't really come our way. But we just need to, if we need to go on a bit of a run, let's get through before we play Liverpool. We've got 4 games. Let's try and get 12 points or at least 10 points or something, and really put some pressure on the top teams above us, and let's see what they're made of, because at the moment we can't carry on dropping these points, silly points.
Look, I think we've got, like you said, we got a winnable fixtures coming up now. So let's go on a big run. And, a few more wins, like you say, puts a very different mood into the camp. So there you have it. That is our player ratings. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of our ratings. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Put it in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on,
Spurs.